midday mandala. I was aiming to start this at midday, which is why I call this session midday mandala. But life happens. It didn't exactly happen at midday, but we will be starting now. So today I've chosen to do a mandala. It's again from this book that I've got that is having meditative mandalas. It's a coloring book. And let's just get going. There we go. Very often when I start coloring these, I don't necessarily have an idea how it's gonna turn out, what I'm gonna do. This time I do have a little bit of an idea. Let's see if I can stick with it. There. We've got lovely yellow in the middle. And then we're gonna go just a little bit orange. There. Looks like orange petals. Like that. Just continuing around. And there. It's very quiet today. Where is everybody? The sun is shining here, so I'm wondering if everybody is outside and doing something fun rather than using their phone, which I should say is probably also a good thing. Let's go for a little bit more red. That should be a little bit more red. There we go. Could have chosen something that was a little bit more red, but I guess after I've gone around this, then we will see some differences. Won't look exactly like my previous color. It will stand out a bit more. There. There we go. Almost gone around. And there we've got two more left. Yeah, as I was just mentioning, I have a bit of an idea on how to color this. Very often I just start coloring and decide on the spur of the moment how to color them. This one I have a bit of an idea. There we go. I can actually see now that there was more contrast than I was thinking between these two colors. I thought that they would end up being very close to each other, but no, that was actually fine. Then I want to go a little bit green. There we go. Light green, very light green. That reminds me of spring when everything turns and starts sort of bringing into life, everything new. That's our light green. There. And it's going around and around. Oops. Almost colored the wrong one. There. Now I'm wondering, what shall I do next? Shall I go for a darker green or put a bit more yellow? I think. Oh, hi, there's Aisha saying hi. Hello. And Chan is saying hi. Nice to have you guys here. It's lovely that you've come. Hope you're having a brilliant day. That sounded very American. Yeah, but I still do hope that you're having a great day. There we go. Yes, I did go for that green. There. There we go. And just continuing around. It's starting to look like a flower. And that was one of the reasons why I chose to put that yellow in the middle. Because I thought that this looks a bit like a star. Some kind of a cross between a star and a flower. So I thought that the yellow center would sort of work well. So now I'm just working my way around and into different kinds of colors. And what I think I will do is I will then in the next layer put some of that yellow orange. There we go. So let's go back and do some yellow and orange here. Thinking what would be the best. Let's go with that for yellow. There we go. Yeah, you can't really take things back with these colors. You just need to go with what you've gone. And then sort it out with other colors if it looks like something doesn't quite look as it should. Or, well, as you had hoped for. Yep. There we go. And there we go. So now I've gone around with the yellow. That's actually quite nice. It almost looks like something is shooting out from the middle. But yeah, I'm gonna continue and do a little bit of orange. Let's go and do orange here. Gonna have a stripy look for this layer. There we go. A little bit of stripiness. And there. And on the other side, I like to make these look quite balanced, if possible. Anybody else there who would like to say hi? I'll mention your name if I can read it. Sometimes it's hard to read these things all the way to the end, especially when you are coloring. You're trying to look at your phone and at the same time you're trying to look at your okay, now I completely lost my thought. Sometimes happens. Maybe I'm getting old. Well, what I tried to say is that sometimes it's hard when you're trying to look both your phone and what you're coloring. There we go. Going back to red. Little red parts here, just to make it look like we've paid a lot of attention to our coloring, full of little details, and we're not ignoring them. There we go. They are little though. Should have chosen the other side of the pen. I'm using these twin markers where one side is a brush and the other side is a fine pen. So Okay, but we got there at the end. Right, and then what shall we do? I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for a darker green. Yep, it is darker green. Just checking before I start. And we're going to do darker green in between. If there are any suggestions for colors. Oh, Alice Lansio, hi! Thank you for commenting. It's so nice to hear you guys are there. Nice to hear that somebody says something. Hope you guys are having some relaxing time today so that it's not all just busy, busy, busy. Yeah, my life often tends to be quite busy. So I like it when I've got the chance of doing something that is less busy. And this kind of coloring practice is brilliant. Like it says, meditative coloring. When you're coloring, you're pretty much just thinking about what you're coloring. You don't think about other things at the same time. So, in that sense, it works quite well. There we go. There we go. This is our stripy layer. Yeah, stripy layer is looking stripy as expected. There we go. Put a different color there just to calm it down a bit so that it doesn't look over the top zebra-like. Although I've not really seen yellow, orange and green zebras, but I guess you know what I mean. There we go. There. Hello. Anybody else there? Anybody new who would like to say hi? Very quiet today. There we go. Almost done with this stripy layer. There. Like that. Okay. Does not look too stripy, at least to me. I wonder what you guys think. Did I make it too stripy with these? Let's then go for a little bit more blue way. I think let's turn it more towards blue by using a teal in between. There we go. There we go. There. Yep, this marker might be a bit too wide in a way, but I am trying to be careful with it. There we go. Oops. Okay, went a bit over in that one, but I think we're still fine. I need to choose something else there to cover that a bit. Luckily the blacks are quite wide in most of the places. It's just between these two that are a bit harder to color well. There we go. Yep, this is going to take me some time to go around. But it's fine. I wonder if you can hear my voice very well. I've been a bit ill, so my voice is a bit gone. You can hear some kind of squeaking from here, I guess. But I'm hoping you can actually hear what I'm saying. There we go. It's hard to do a live if you don't have a voice. Well, I guess you can do a silent one. There we go. Would anybody watch a silent live though? I guess if what was happening was very interesting, people would watch. Would you prefer to hear or watch a silent live on mandalas? Would that work for you? You would just be watching it. I tend to be more of a listener myself. I like to listen to something. There we go. There we go. Just going around and around. Two more to go. I'm turning. Easier to color when it's a bit on the side. There we go. Oh yes, this is much faster. My goodness, I should have been turning this all along. Could have got it done a lot faster. There we go. And there we go. Yep. Much faster to do like this. So let's turn it around again. There we go. And another. So now we've got yellows, we've got oranges, red, a little bit of red, and we've got greens, then we got teal. What shall I do next? I have a feeling I will put some red in there. Just in these little things, just so that they pop out a bit. Sounds like the thing to do, or feels like the thing to do. Let's see how it turns out. There we go. Oh, somehow reminds me of the tails of the peacock. The decorations they've got. These things that look like eyes. There we go. That's what we are doing. Peacock feathers. There. Oh dear. Yep, my tummy is rumbling now so loudly that I wonder if you just heard that. I'm hoping not. There we go. Almost have our full cycle done. Sorry if I'm causing you to feel a bit dizzy by turning the coloring thing that I'm coloring, but I came to the conclusion that it is so much easier to color these when I keep turning the page. There we go. Anybody there who's feeling like saying hi? It's always nice when people comment something. Nice to hear back. Not just numbers, but actual people listening and watching the coloring. There we go. Right, there's Marley. Sorry, Miles. That said hi. Hello. Hello back. There we go. I've almost done the peacock eyes. Well, one layer of them. And then it's going around again. Any ideas what colors I should put? Whoops. Okay. There we go. So easy to have your hand just slip a little bit and go over. Okay. Peacock eyes have now something red. Okay. And I'm thinking, if there is no suggestions, I'll just go with yellow. And I'm gonna do a little dot of yellow here. There we go. Whoops. Almost missed one there. These ones are fast. There we go. Carrying those little colors of yellow and red through from the middle. I was just saying that the middle looks a bit like a flower or a star, so I thought that the yellow was a good color for that. But I quite like the brightness of the yellow otherwise as well. There we go. Yep, almost around. There we go. Like that. And one more. Bombs. There we go. So now we've got that layer done. What shall we do next? I am thinking, so my original plan, which I never revealed, was to go from yellows and oranges to green and then blues a bit. So I think now might be the time to start bringing those blues. I'm wondering if that is too dark to go with. Shall I go for something that's a little bit lighter? Yep. Thinking. Yep, let's see. Let's go first with this. This is gonna be quite dark, but then it's against. It's right next to that teal. And I can do the next layer a bit lighter. There we go, it still shows nicely. There, turning. It's like turning a wheel. There. Yep. Starting to do these bigger areas now, so. Oops. There. Needs more turning. There. And turning. There. I think the next color, I was planning to go lighter. Please let me know if you think that's the wrong way to go. I was gonna do a lighter blue next. I sort of selected the blue already there. and then I'll figure out what to do after that. There. Yeah, I think I will go for that lighter one. No comments in the chat, so we'll go with that if it works. There we go, maybe that side works. There. Let's go and see how this looks like. I guess if I decide that it looks like a disaster because it's such a light color, I could go over it, but I don't think I've ever done that. I just always continued with my choice and decided that it looks good. Mandalas are very easy, I think, to make look nice. So even if you don't have much experience in coloring anything, or colors are really not necessarily a thing, then mandalas are a good way of just getting into the habit of doing something, and then once you've done, you can sort of take a look at it and see, does it work? Do I feel it doesn't work? And you can see different colors together, and very often they just end up looking nice. There we go. And one more. And then it's again a change of color. So I'm thinking at the moment is I will make it a bit more purplish as I'm going out. I think next thing to do might be to choose something here. Or shall I go purplish? Neon violet. Let's go and do neon violet. There. We got brave dark colors today in the mandala. Looking very vibrant. Very, very vibrant. There. Yep. I'm turning that again. Whoops, that was a big turn. Starting to lose my voice. Hopefully you can still hear me. There. I think what I will do is for those little grains in the middle, don't quite know what to call them. Maybe I'll bring again the oranges and yellows and reds in there. Yeah. Just to sort of keep the color continuing. Keep it going through. Yep. There we go. It's going to be interesting to see how this looks like when it's ready. We are not too far from that. Shouldn't take that long. Yep. There we go. So that is purple. And then, yep, I was saying I should continue with the, maybe that thing needs to be now red. Yep, let's go and do red, because there I had, yeah, going and doing red. And then the rest is more purplish. And, well, let's see. Is there still something that I would put? For example, yellow. Little highlights of color. Sorry, turning again. There we go. There we go. Like that. So now we've got some reds there. And the next one, next color. Yep. Any suggestions? I would like to possibly go for a darker color. Let's see how that looks like. Yep, it looks a little bit darker than my previous one, which is actually exactly what I was after. Let's do those little things as well. Right. There. I think I'll leave the little things. Or shall I? The problem is that they're so little that unless I dab those very carefully, the color just spills, and I don't think you can see them anyway. They're probably so small, but there are these little areas that technically you can color. There we go. Just so small that they don't really show. There. And then we need to sort of figure out what to do with these parts that sort of open up. These parts that I'm doing now, they're sort of closing in. What do I do with those parts that sort of open up? What kind of color should I put there? There. Like that. Like this. There we go. Okay, we've got now, yeah, that actually does look quite nice. Well, at least I think so. You can leave me your opinions. Do you agree? Do you disagree? How does it look like? Right. I think what I will do is I will add here some red. These parts. And then let's see what I do then. There. There we go. So now those little bits are all red. And the next thing would be, I think, to add some other color. I think let's go with the orange. The orange worked well before. Whoopsie! Somebody made a bit of a mistake there. Now those don't match. Okay, I think what we will do is we will just go both two as orange and never tell that they were not meant to be both orange. There we go. Doesn't look that bad, but I do feel like I've cheated a bit because now I've got two areas next to each other and they are both orange. There we go. But hey, stuff happens. So, going around. Go. Right. Okay, now I need to decide what colors to put there. If there is no suggestions, I think what I will do, I would like to put some yellow and green there, I think. So let's go and do these middle parts as yellow. And then see where the green is gonna go. There. There doesn't seem to be any suggestions today from the chat. You guys are very quiet. So I will just continue coloring with these. Whoops, stand that bit. There we go. And one more. And then the question is the next color, should it be more teal or should it be more green? I think, not quite sure what I'm thinking. I think I'm thinking teal. Let's go for teal. Let's put teal outside. There. And then we might put the green on the inside. All sides are almost done. So it's just talking about what colors to choose next. If you got any ideas, let me know. I'm thinking at the moment putting some green next to the yellow on the inside. Just need to finish coloring these first. There we go. And turning a bit again. There we go. So now I've gone around with the teal. This is very, very multicolored, isn't it? And very, very brave colors today. I have really gone for it. And I think that another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do this side with the light green. there. And then what I need to find is a color also for these edges. And oops, that almost went in the wrong place. Yeah, so just need to pay attention to what I'm coloring while I'm talking. Yeah, there we go. And there. Right. Okay, that is all the light greens. And now what I want to do is to just have something quite dark there. And what I would go for, let's see how plum looks like. I don't think this pen has been used much. Yeah, I think plum is good for this. Just wanted something dark that doesn't come out too much from the background, just because we've got so colorful parts there in the middle. There we go. Huh, almost dry, it's looking black. Almost, not quite. There we go. And after this, there's just that one V-shaped area that requires coloring. And it's just figuring out what color to put there. This is so colorful that it somehow reminds me of old glass windows. When you see them made and the sun is really shining in them, they have very powerful colors in them. There we go. And then I just need to do those little parts. So what color shall we go for that? I almost feel like that should be something dark too. I don't have a functional black. Oops. But that will do, I think. Yeah. This color is called Winter Night. So it's a bit of a bluish black. Not exactly black. But blue and black at the same time. Or grey. There we go. Sort of calmed it down a bit. That's just those certain areas that are very colorful, but at some point it was starting to almost look like it was all over the shop, but I think that has calmed it down nicely. There we go. So that was our drawing today. Please like and subscribe if you like what we're doing, so I know that I can continue. Yeah, thank you for being here. It's lovely having you. Bye.